if Will Smith was the best acquisition, but they got him for Jake Odorizzi. So it wasn't I guess they could have done better, but they didn't give up any of their top talent. Like I know that the Padres gave up a lot to get their big Juan Soto, but I think the Astros did what they did to upgrade. They got Mancini to play first base, play a little bit left field. They went ahead and got Christian Vasquez to play catcher, but at the same time, they have Martin Maldonado, who they want to play only occasionally. So we'll see what happens long term, but I think the Astros made a kind of a good move. The Astros made a good move there, but we'll see if it was enough. Because I know that the Giants, the Yankees went out and made some big moves, and I know on the other side the Braves got better, the Padres got better, and I know Sny Dogs Dodgers are a little bit better because they got the sweet hitting Joey Gallo.
Well, tell me a little bit. I was a little stunned to see Will Smith be dealt to Houston, and the Odorizzi. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just not following the teams as close. Odorizzi just had a very good start for Houston. I was a little surprised that this was a deal that was made. I know Will Smith has not been. Will Smith's lost the closer job this year, but he is someone with playoff experience. He was on the map. I don't know if you remember this, but he actually clinched the World Series against the Astros last year. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, I remember.
But so that'll be interesting to walk around that clubhouse and say, "Hey, how you doing? Sorry I ended your season." But what are your thoughts about this bullpen depth now?
Well, I think the Astros had a surplus in the rotation, and if you're looking at the playoffs, Jake Odorizzi would not be in the playoffs roster at all, and so Dusty Baker has been kind of pushing for a left-handed reliever, and so with Lance McCullers making another start today, and with AAA Space Cowboys, he's probably on the way back to pitch mid-August with the Astros again. So you didn't need to be 6 or 7 starters deep. So Odorizzi, as hot and cold as he was a good starter at times, but he was kind of expendable. And the Astros would have to upgrade their team by giving up one of the young guys like Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, or Luis Garcia. And they decided to, instead of doing that, to go ahead and give up Jake Odorizzi instead. And so I think that's why they made that move. And they knew that Odorizzi probably needed to change the scenery because he's had some ups and downs here. So I know that was part of the move. And the Astros bullpen has actually been pretty good. They don't really need the left-handed reliever. They have Phil Maton there who's neutralizes left-handers pretty well. But Dusty Baker's old school. He likes that left-handed reliever. So that was the logic behind it.
All right. Hey, Millard and Jeff, I want your take on the trade. I thought Minnesota was going to get Luis Castillo from Cincy, but he wound up going to Seattle. But Cincinnati said, hey, we got someone else. And they sent Tyler Mahle over for Spencer Steer, Christian Encarnacion Strand, who leads the league in letters in his last name, and Steve Hajjar. I will go to baseballreference.com, the single greatest website, history play on earth, to see the correct spelling. I mean, no disrespect. I've never seen his name until just now, and I don't want to butcher it. What are your thoughts on that deal and the Twins getting that much-needed pitching depth that they need if they want to make a run for it?
Yeah, I like the deal.
Jump ball.
Yeah, I'll go quick, but I like the move for the Twins because they were one of the teams I thought should go after like a Frankie Montas, Pablo Lopez, just because when we look at their rotation, you're on guys like Dylan Bundy and Chris Archer, and a couple of them have had nice seasons, but there's just not a lot to look at their rotation. I just don't have a lot of trust in those guys once I get to the postseason. So I felt like they need to go out there and get a legit number 2 starter front And Molly's pretty good. Maybe he's not an level pitcher, but he's with the guys that they mostly have in that rotation right now. So to slide Miley in as maybe your one starter in that rotation, if you're the Twins, it's a win now move for a team that's already leading that division, and I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, Molly hasn't been great this year, but his underlying numbers are pretty similar to the last couple of years. That he has been pretty good. His walk rate's a little higher, strike rate's a little lower, but his home run rate is also a little bit lower. And so, there's no reason to think that he isn't still the guy who was pretty darn good the last 2 years and kind of gave the Twins a chance to maybe buy low a little bit because he hasn't been as good. In the offseason, people were talking about Castillo and Molly as almost like 1A and 1B as far as the Reds trade chips. And so obviously this season's performance is real and it happened and maybe there is something behind it. But, for a team like the Twins to be able to jump in and buy low on Molly, I think it's a good move for them. And doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I think it's a good move.
I think one thing
only 27.
Yeah. So I was going to point that out that it could work out beyond. The Twins are definitely looking at this as their window of opportunity because they gave up 7 players today to not just pick up Molly, but they also got Jorge Lopez, the all-star closer from the Baltimore Orioles, to give them some bullpen depth. So they feel the Guardians and believe it or not, the White Sox are only like 2 or 3 games behind them. As everything has gone wrong for the White Sox this year, they're still 1 decent month away from climbing back into first place. So, hats off to Minnesota for saying, hey, we're going to make a run at it. Hey, we got Jeff Snyder, we got Millard Thomas, we got Eric Heisman. Just round the horn as we wrap up here. What was the trade that made you go, wait, what? The most? Like, which one caught you on your heels? Like this question is catching you on your heels.
Yeah.
Do you mean from our own team?
Well, Eric, you go first.
I mean, from our own team, I would have to say Will Smith. I mean, I knew that it was going to be a Jake Odorizzi was going somewhere. I thought it was possibly to the Cardinals because he's the Cardinals type of pitcher. I mean, they trade for Quintana. So that was the type of pitcher they would go for. So I would say for the Will Smith trade was a little bit odd. I would say that the Angels kind of gutting. I mean, I know that they're a bad team this year, but the Angels kind of gutting it and trading Noah Syndergaard, Rafael Iglesias was kind of surprising to me. But the fact that they were even listening to Shohei Ohtani was kind of weird as well.
Yeah.
For me, I think the weirdest one was Whit Merrifield going to the Blue Jays when it was just last week that Whit Merrifield wasn't allowed to play in Toronto because he wasn't vaccinated. So, that one, I think if you had made a list of teams Whit Merrifield might have been traded to, the Blue Jays probably would have been 29th on that list. So that one was interesting.
Yeah. Miller.
Yeah, and then for me personally, it was one that we already discussed today because the Giants got back J.D. Davis, who is, he's had an up and down career so far in Major League Baseball, but he's definitely a lot on the Major League level. And they got back 3 minor league pitchers. I want to look at what the D-backs did with the David Peralta deal. They just got back nothing. The D4 pitchers in their organization, rookie ball catcher, when David Peralta is more productive than a Darren Ruff. He's just a straight up better player. So to see Darren Ruff, the return for Darren Ruff be a pretty solid major leaguer plus 3 legit dart throws, that just makes me mad as a D-backs fan that we couldn't get a package similar.
The Josh Hader trade was the one that stunned me the most.
Yeah,
I know that he had a bad couple of games, and I know that the Brewers don't have the deepest pockets, but they're also in first place, and they're also they have a window of opportunity of right now, and the fact that he was dealt to another team that's supposedly a small market team, but evidently not, with San Diego. Taking a step back, they're banking that Taylor Rogers can get his act together. I think, if they let Hader walk, they'll get like a middle draft pick or something like that if they give them an offer. And this way they know they're getting a better return than if they let him walk. So it's a smart move, especially if Taylor Rogers can do the job well or someone else can fill in. We've seen so many times over the last bunch of years, a team has switched closers going into the final few months. I mean, it's so seldom that you see a team start the year with one pitcher as their closer and finish the year with win the World Series with that same closer. It happens from time to time, but there's been tons of turnover in that particular position. So I find it a little odd, but that was the trade that caught me off guard. Well, you all haven't caught me off guard. Sorry that everyone who's tuned in. We did have some technical difficulties right off the top. Remember, your pal Sully is a 50-year-old doddering man saying, I don't know how these AOL rooms work, but we managed to pull it off here. Jeff Snyder, Locked On Dodgers, Eric Heisman from Locked On Astros, Millard Thomas from Locked On Diamondbacks, and my compadre every Monday morning. Thank everyone else who stopped in to give their thoughts on the trade deadline as we just sort of did this sort of round robin pass of the baton. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you've all enjoyed listening to it. If you're listening to us on your earbuds, then I've broken this up into a couple episodes. You can follow